Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Before we get into it, I'd like to thank Sabal Games and Art by Saint at twitchlayouts.com. They did a really good job. Sabal worked on my new overlay for YouTube, and all my profile pictures and banners were done by Art by Saint. So shout out to them, and let's get into the video. So this deck is a Electro Wizard Fireball bait deck. Every card except for I guess Hog, even though sometimes people will Fireball Hog, function as a spell bait, well a Fireball bait to make the Three Muskets work. So formerly I was trying to make this work with a Graveyard deck, pretty much just Hogs just for Graveyard, but this deck, as I found out, because sometimes I really want to make things work when I make decks. And this is a deck I made by myself, and the Graveyard version was mine as well. It's like a, yeah, it kind of goes back to when I was doing Three Musket Fireball decks for the challenge, and I just have modified it since. So this is my own creation. I'm sure other people have run something similar, but yeah, there's another variation that runs Three Musket Hog right now, but mine's a little bit different. And I think it's really good. I went 12-0 in a grand challenge with it just earlier today. So it's really good, and I like it better than the Graveyard version because the Graveyard, you really don't want the Three Muskets to be tanking for Graveyard, and otherwise they don't work as well together. You can throw a Hog in front of Three Muskets or either side, and Ice Golem works together, and Ice Golem works with Hog, and it just works better, I think. And Hog's quicker, it doesn't take as much setup, because Graveyard you can't just throw down by itself, you can with Hog. So it makes the deck a little bit cheaper in terms of your pushes. Because otherwise in the Graveyard deck you really never had the opportunity to have a full-on push. And also sometimes I'll make decks and I'm really stubborn because I can get 12 wins with them like I did several times with that deck. But it doesn't mean it's the best deck if I can't do it like super consistently, because I'm above average player obviously, so sometimes I try to make things work when they shouldn't. But anyway, let's get into how this works. So Fireball bait, obviously you can defend and use these. So you don't want to just start a game off with Three Muskets or anything though. You always want to make sure you bait their Fireball first, or figure out that they don't have Fireball. You don't want to just start it and let it get Fireballed for free. It needs to be kind of a surprise. So early on you can play it more like a Hog deck. And anyway, I'll get into some replays and I'll show you. So, also this deck, okay, so, 1 second before I start. This deck, it's strong against Zap Bait because you have I mean, you have so much stuff to deal with Zap Bait. Like, minions are really good against it. Muskets in their split. Muskets deal with everything in Zap Bait really well. Ice Golem works really well. Electro Wizard is like a second Zap in addition to your Fireball Zap. And you can use Tombstone to bait Fireballs. Because for some reason, well, make sure they use something else after their Fireball, because otherwise they can mirror it and that would screw you. But yeah, you can bait Fireball with Tombstone against Zap Bait very often. So yeah, it works pretty well against Zap Bait. It's amazing against air. You just have to bait their Fireball first and then use the Three Muskets to destroy the Lava Loon. It works really good against other Hog decks because you have Tombstone, Fireball and everything, and Electro Wizard is actually really good against other Hogs. This deck has enough counters for elite barb decks. I'd say the weakness is decks that run lightning, which aren't that common, and then decks that have bowler, fireball, and elite barbs. But I actually did beat a deck. You can outplay those, but that's definitely like the hard counter. So let's get into it. First off, I have a Zap Bait deck, and yeah, like I said, I went 12-0 on a grand challenge. So let's get into it. This is against a guy that has like 4,500 trophies, so he's a good player. And it was cool because it's in Jungle Arena, the new arena. I'll have a Dark God video, or at least a deck guide when I use Dark God coming out probably tomorrow. So anyway, so I start off with minions at the back, just a safe starting hand. He said, I think I end up BMing because of that thanks. He's like, thanks, because you can kill with it. But I threw down Ice Golem in front. And I will say, so he's Fireball, so I decided to throw down Electro Wizard. The Electro Wizard was completely wasted. I don't know why I threw it down. I should have just thrown down Hog, and that Zap would have been decent. Just to equalize, the reason I didn't do anything to that Goblin Barrel was because I knew I made a mistake. I knew I was down 4 elixir. So I just let the Goblin Barrel go through, because the Electro Wizard was completely wasted. It did absolutely nothing. I should have only thrown Hog. Yay. So at this point, I'm just trying to equalize. I throw down Tombstone to distract the Princess, and I just kind of wait for him to make a move. And at this point, I see that once she comes up forward, I can get a valued Fireball. And then, like I said, that Tombstone kind of acts as a Fireball bait. I believe he Fireballs this. Or maybe he mirrors Furnace first. Okay, yeah. So I throw down Electro Wizard at the back. And see, notice I had already put Ice Golem back there. So I purposely threw down the Electro Wizard so that he would fireball it. And then I'm going to put 3 muskets up here to take out the Furnace. And then I'm going to hardcore push, and since he like threw Goblin Barrel at an angle, and I knew that Skeleton Army was going to be his defense against 3 muskets, and he had no fireball, I just held my zap for the Skeleton Army, and I got a ton of damage because of that. And then I knew that that late log, since that log was so late and it wasn't immediate, it meant he used it as soon as he had the elixir for it, so I knew that he wasn't going to have elixir to use anything else. And I also knew his Furnace was out of rotation. So I knew the hog would connect to the tower. So that one series event, and then just like knowing what his deck is, because he's running the meta Fireball Zap Bait deck. Or the meta Zap Bait Mirror deck, I mean. So I knew exactly what he was doing, and I knew that he wouldn't be able to counter my pushes there. So that's why I went so aggressive and ignored his Goblin Barrel. And at this point, I'm pretty much just playing defense. I know he can fireball that, but it doesn't really matter. He actually like ran out of elixir, so he decided to log it instead for some reason. But at this point, I'm just hardcore defending, and that's pretty much the match. Because, oh yeah, just make sure when you're playing against that deck too, to like watch the Goblin Barrel closely to make sure you know where it's going, so you don't miss that. Because I even do that sometimes. But yeah, that one little push just was like the game. I played it very well. And that's how you can do it. Since he mirrored Furnace and his fire was out of hand, I threw down like musketeers. I decided not to defend with Zap. That way I would still have Zap for the Skeleton Army, and then my musketeers ripped through the tower, and then he had to panic to defend, and then I knew he didn't have Furnace in rotation, so Hog would be able to get through. And if he had saved up for like Minion Horde, I could have just zapped it, and Hog still would have gotten like 3 hits, and the Minion Horde would have died tower. So either way, that was really good. So some of these decks were kind of weird. Most of them were pretty meta though. Okay, so this is like awful matchup. You shouldn't be able to win this. And I think this guy actually BMs me too when he sees Hog, he's like, oh, good game. So this is actually really fun. So he threw that Tombstone too far back, so I knew that my Hog would be able to get back without running into it. I had already preemptively started fireballing because I was hoping I would catch his defensive unit, and I did catch one of them. So he gets one Elite Barb hit off, but I throw down Ice Golem in front of the tower, and the tower, even if the minions were to get zapped, was able to finish him off. So that was a decent little amount of damage there. I am slightly behind Elixir, but I am ahead in tower damage, so... I think my Fireball was probably too greedy. Honestly, the Tombstone wasn't going to do anything, so... And I only hit one Elite Barb. I did hit tower, but I think I should have just not Fireballed there. That was kind of a greedy move. I should have just set up defenses in the back, preparing for whatever his defensive troops were, which they ended up being Elite Barbs. So I just didn't really have any other card to play. Against Graveyard, because you know it's going to be Graveyard. You should probably just play it in the back. Against Bowler Graveyard, because Bowler's just going to kill it. So he didn't have Fireball in hand, so I go ahead and defend with Muskets. And then I actually took a freaking ton of damage. And then I end up zapping. I took way too much damage there, but I knew he didn't have Fireball, so I threw down Muskets. And then here, I know he is down Elixir, so I'm going to start trying to push as soon as I have Elixir for Ice Golem Hog. There it goes. He throws down Tombstone. But I did let the Ice Golem get in front, and the Ice Golem explodes and takes out the skeletons, and I get a decent amount of damage. He's saying good game. I don't... Yeah, so he's like, oh, it's a Hog, I win. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes for him. So essentially what you have to do when it gets a double elixir against a bowler deck is bait out the bowler on one side and then go to the opposite lane regardless of what side has more damage on it, and then be ready to kill the Tombstone. And then he's often not going to have elixir, and if you have Ice Golem in front for Elite Barbs, the Hog still gets like 3 hits off, so it's okay. And then at this point he used Elite Barb, so I throw down the Hog, and now I'm defending, and I know the Tombstone, a panicked Tombstone alone won't finish it off, so I get the Hog in there, and then I Fireball just to finish it off. And the thing that makes this a possible matchup is Fireball bait is so good against Graveyard, because they can't Fireball minions unless they want their fireball to be gone for the 3 muskets, and they can't fireball 3 muskets and have the fireball ready for the other thing. So I knew he was gonna put Bowler in the 3 musket lane, so I outplayed him and I went Ice Golem Hog in the opposite lane so he wouldn't have Bowler up, and he also didn't have enough elixir for Tombstone and Elite Barb. And that fireball, I knew he was gonna play something defensively, so I threw down fireball and it happened to hit his Electro Wizard just as he placed it down. So I get the win there. Yeah, so that's how you. It's unfortunate how much damage I took early on, but it actually works really well against Graveyard. This deck, like this deck, is a Graveyard counter, which makes it possible even though he has so many Hog and 3 musket counters. And you can minions and then if he does fireball minions when he's using Graveyard, then they've already done killed 75% of the skeletons, and then you have 3 muskets after that. Or if he fireballs 3 muskets, his Graveyard will never get damaged. So it's really good in that aspect. So for the third and final, we will show the meta Lava Loon deck. And I played this deck and it's really solid, and I think this guy I'm against, he was like 4,800 trophies or something. So it's a good player. So in most decks, Electro Wizard isn't a safe start, but with mine, where you know you can punish, it's always safe to start Electro Wizard at the back, because if they fireball it, they're helping you. Unfortunately, he did play it well though. It's good. It was smart to play Lava Hound into it, because Lava Hound didn't take that much damage, and now I don't have that up. And my starting hand was kind of bad. Well, that and the Electro Wizard play wasn't great. So I had to fireball Zap to get rid of the Mega Minion there, which I don't know if I should have done that. I maybe should have just. I mean, I kind of had to though, because I didn't have Electro Wizard in hand, and I wasn't gonna have enough elixir for 3 muskets this early, and he had fireball up. So unfortunate starting. It would. I mean, Ice Golem is the best start, playing him in the back. But so now I know his Tombstone's about to die. He isn't gonna have elixir. He isn't gonna have elixir to defend super hard because he played on Lava Hound. And then my Ice Golem gets really good value killing all the skeletons, and it gets a decent amount of damage. So at this point, I'm just waiting. Okay, so I do decide to play minions there, and then now he used Fireball to take out Tombstone before I played my minions. So I go ahead and get ready to play down my 3 muskets. And since I know he doesn't have Fireball available, I can put the 2 muskets on the weak side, the tower that has more damage to it, because it's not like he has a cycle deck, it's a Lava Hound deck. They're actually kind of expensive. So I'm going to put the 2 muskets on the Lava Hound side, because when you do that, obviously 2 muskets are better than 1 in terms of taking down a flying unit, or anything for that matter. So I go 2 muskets in that lane. He happens to place a Mega Minion at the exact same time. I think, yeah, he's going to go Lava Hound in front, which is fine with me. And then I'm able to do a pretty strong hog push in the opposite lane with the 1 musket. So the muskets actually do so much damage that I time my fireball there. I do miss some of the pucks, but meanwhile, I fireball there to keep from taking too much damage, and then I'm getting a ton of damage on the left side with my hog push. And then I know he has Fireball back up now because he doesn't use it, so I'm not going to start 3 muskets to the back. I'm going to start Electro Wizard at the back. And then once again, he places down the Lava Hound. Minions are really good for taking out defenses in the middle, so I get ready to zap. I zapped a little bit early, but it still worked out pretty well. I got at least one. I got 1 hog shot in, and then I actually rotated to Electro Wizard, so I used Electro Wizard to kill minions. And then another thing that I was doing on purpose. Okay, so I fireballed perfectly just because I don't want to take any damage, obviously. I put the Electro Wizards together, so he fireballed them. And if he hadn't fireballed them, it would have been fine too, because I wouldn't have taken damage that way either. But I did it on purpose because I wanted him to fireball it. Also, seizure alert in overtime on this arena. So at this point, it's a do or die, and then I'm going in hard. I was actually gonna zap. I was gonna zap and then fireball the Tombstone so my hog made it to tower, but his skeleton army actually pushed my hog in the tower. But for the last 3 Lava Hound pushes, he did no damage. So this deck, I mean, I had a terrible start, and I actually took a lot of damage at the beginning. And even if he had played Balloon more often, it wouldn't have helped him at all, because then he wouldn't have had anything to kill muskets, because I always baited out his Fireball first on purpose. So yeah, this deck is very good against the Lava Hound, especially if you play it correctly. So yeah, let's go. I'll go ahead and open the chest since I haven't already. I'm hoping for more Dark Goblins. So Wizard, kind of meh. Spirit Goblins, meh. Bomber, also meh. P.E.K.K.A. Giant. Not bad. Furnace, not bad. Minion Horde. Hey, 17 Dark Goblins, not bad. 222 elite barbs, okay, okay. Clone. Goblin Hut. Nice. I don't know if what like a legendary would be like in terms of how many there are. Okay, no legendary. Baby dragon though. Who doesn't want a baby dragon? It's so cute. And yeah, so I think that's all for today. I mean, I can go ahead and throw open these. I hope you guys enjoyed the new overlay and all the graphics and stuff and the face cam. I figured it's kind of, since especially when I'm just explaining things, it's another thing to take up space. So I enjoy it. I really like the new overlay. Thank you guys for all your support, and I'll see you next video, which will probably be like tomorrow. Peace. Hey guys, what's up? I just did a quick cut right there. I actually started playing matches in another grand challenge, obviously. This is only like 5 minutes afterwards, but I wasn't recording, so yeah, and I need to get in a live battle, so here we'll get in now. The match I lost was actually really unfortunate. Hog, like my 7th card was 3 muskets and my 8th card was Hog, and he pumped to start the game, so I wasn't able to punish it very well, or at all actually. And then it was like a giant pump deck, so he was able to just stack pumps, and eventually he actually overpowered me and like nearly 3-crowned me. But I almost was able to come back, but just not quite. So he actually is in behind an elixir, so I'm gonna Hog right now. Alright, we're back pretty much even, because that was a pretty good counter by him. A little bit of damage. Alright, just to keep that Hog from getting a hit, I went ahead and threw down Electro Wizard. Okay, and he actually fireballed, which is kind of one of the things you want to do when you're defending. You want to give him, like, not necessarily fireballs on the tower, but like seemingly good fireballs. That way that they will fireball it, and it gives you 3 muskets, and that means their fireball is always going to be out of rotation for 3 muskets. So, get the 3 muskets down.
Yay. Gotcha.
Okay. So he's like having to super hard defend those, and now the Hog's gonna get in. Well, maybe, we'll see. Ooh, the muskets on the other side, yeah. Nice, 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 nice. I got good damage on both sides. Very good, very good. That's what 3 muskets are all about. What a Hog push. He does have log for Tombstone though. I should have played minions a little bit earlier, or Electro Wisp, but yeah. So okay, so now his Fireball will be back up because he hasn't used it. He has Princess, so I'm gonna go and throw down Ice Golem. Yeah. Wait until he plays something else. I'm gonna go ahead and Fireball probably. I maybe should have went Electro Wisp instead. I'm gonna throw Hog behind that so it's not wasted. He'll have to cannon. Ooh, he fireballed it. Okay. I meant to put the 2 muskets in the other lane, but that works too, it's fine.
Let's go.
I'm trying to rotate the fireball so I can fireball the princess and the cannon. Actually, maybe it didn't need to because the muskets are actually doing work. But I've still got enough leftover units on this side. I'm going to get a lot of damage probably. Okay, I just need a fireball. What you doing, bro? I don't. So he was like waiting for me to play 3 muskets or something. I don't know why he didn't just rush. He had to rush. He wasn't gonna get through, but because all I needed was fireball. But anyway, that was an interesting process. But thank you guys for watching. Tune in next time.